Hello, I'm IBX2Cam. Welcome back to another second channel video. Today I'm going to be doing something very different to really anything I've seen any other YouTuber do before, because I'm going to be teaching you how to play, and therefore with that, how to watch Hearthstone. So Hearthstone is a very popular game, one of the most popular in the world right now, and it's also a game that I've been playing a lot recently. I've been like seriously addicted, and it's also just a fun, popular game that I figured what would be a good idea is teaching you how to play it, because I'm going to be making quite a few second channel videos, or at least I think so, and potentially even streaming this game quite a bit. But trying to watch this game without having any idea of what's going on, it's just confusing. You look at it and you're like, what's happening? There's like a board over here and there's that over there. What's going on? And that's what this video is for. It's to help you out if you want to watch those videos and actually understand. And also if you decide you want to pick it up, because it is a very cool card game once you get past the confusion at the start. So I'm going to try and do this reasonably quickly, and we'll just play one full game, and I'll kind of explain everything as we go along. And hopefully, although you won't know all the little minute bits, because obviously as with any game there's a lot of skill to pick up here, you won't know all the minute details, but you will understand the basics. So first of all, let's start with choosing your hero, because this is one that confused me a great deal at first when I just saw people playing. Like, why are there 9 heroes in a card game? You figure, because this is a online card game, you'd figure it's based on your cards, not on your hero. But in fact, the hero kind of limits what cards you can have. So there's kind of 2 sets of cards. There's cards limited to each hero. So there's warrior specific cards, there's shaman specific cards, rogue, etc., etc. cards, and then there's also basic cards, and those, I think they're called basic cards, but cards that aren't specific to any decks. So, for instance, a rogue deck and a druid deck, they'll share some cards, but a lot of the cards are exclusive to each type of deck. And this means that each class plays very differently, because they also have built into them a different power, but we'll cover that power later. So, for instance, the rogue can have a 1/2 dagger, whereas the hunter can do 2 damage straight to the enemy hero, and the mage can do 1 damage to anything on the field. It's, that might seem like, this is way better than that, but I'll get into that in a second. But basically, they have different cards and a different power. That's all you need to know here. And for this, I guess we'll play one of my custom decks. We'll play Hunter for now. So, let's go in with the Hunter then. And we'll play against I think a priest will be a fun one. So yeah, it looks like we're going to go through some things. By the way, I do play this game mostly on Android. That's probably where I'd recommend picking it up. But it is available on Windows, I believe Mac, Linux. It's available on anything really. Like, it's amazing because it is just a card game. It runs on anything. So the very first part of any game, and again, this is one that's kind of confusing because this isn't how any normal card game works, is you're given your hand. If you are playing first, you get 3 cards. If you're playing second, you get 4. That's not really too relevant. And basically, you get the opportunity to send the cards back and get another try. So, since I only have 1 mana on the first turn, this 6 won't be useful till much later on the game. This card here is not going to be useful, so we can send it back, potentially get something worse, potentially get something much more useful. Let's see which actually comes first today. So we got a fight. Okay, we got this instead. Not too much of an improvement, but still a little bit easier to use, I think. So yeah, and then since I'm going first, I get my first card, and the game begins. So the thing about Hearthstone, the kind of limiting factor, because you might think, I can play as many cards as I want per turn. The limiting factor, the big one, is your mana. So both players have a mana counter. As you can see, he has 0/0 right there, but every turn you get 1 extra mana to your total. So the first turn you get 1 mana, the second turn you have 2, 3, 4, etc. So that means your early move, you can literally play 1 card, or 1 at any zeros you have, and it basically means you have, the game ramps up as you go along, and it starts simple, gets a lot more complex. For now, we'll just play down this card. We'll restore 2 health, even though it doesn't do anything. And this is a good opportunity to actually describe the battle cry I just did there. So even though I couldn't use it, battle cry is something that a minion can do when he first is activated. So basically, this battle cry was restore 2 health, so I can restore 2 health to anything on the battlefield. I could restore health to him if for some reason that was beneficial, but in reality, most of the time it's going to be I can either restore health myself if I'm low on health, or I can go ahead and I can, restore it to one of my other friendly minions on the field. So yeah, this is a minion card. He has Battle Cry. That's what's going on there. He costs 1 mana, and he has down there at the bottom, just so you're curious what's going on there, he has 2, damage on him, and he has 1 health. So 2 damage, 1 health. These are the kind of the values of what's going on here. So this Wolf Rider here has 3 damage and 1 health, and this dude here has 4 damage, 4 health. Again, all gonna come in useful later when it comes to actual fights. But for now, the key number is damage, because that's how much I'm going to damage his face. Because basically, you can attack any other minion on the field, and let's say he had one of these as well. I could attack him, he'd attack me, or because there's nothing on his field, I can go straight for his face. I could do that anyway, but generally it's more advised to clear out the minions on the field. But I can actually just go and I can attack him straight in the face, and I'm going to do 2 damage because that's how many damage points I have there. And what I can also do this turn, because I have 2 extra mana, as you can see down there, I can either play this card here, but I want to save him for when I actually need the health, or I can use my hero power. So every champion has a hero power, and this has unlimited uses, but only 1 use per turn. So my hero power is to do 2 damage directly to the enemy hero, and I think that's going to be pretty useful. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to charge that right end right now. And as you can see, it takes 2 damage off his health, because that's what my power is. And now you can see it's not going to be useful for the rest of the turn. There's also weapons, which come on the left. But for now, the main thing you need to know is there's 2 major types of cards you're going to be using at the time. There is your minion card, so this is a minion, that is a minion, and then there is, there's the spell cards. They're the 2 main ones that come up like 99% of the time, or like 90% of the time. Then you've got your hero power, and then you've got some other stuff. But yeah, so let's stay focused for a little bit. Next, what I want to talk about is taunting. So, like I mentioned, although I can attack the face at any time, that stops being true if a taunt card is played. So, this Frostwolf Grunt right here has taunt on him, and what that means is I have to attack him before I can do anything else. So, the taunt cards are very, very powerful because they essentially allow you to protect everything else in the field. Because if he had a really weak card there, so let's say he had a card of really low health but really high attack, so I couldn't just destroy it, he could put that there, and that stops me from destroying the card while this card is still alive. However, as you can probably tell if you can do the math here, what I actually have here is, I have a 2/1, so I can actually take him out. It will kill me too, but it's, it still gets him off the field. And then with that done, what I can do is I can play 1 of 3 cards from my hand, or I can use this hero power. And although, this is useful, and I'll explain the charge later, for now, I'm going to use this Leper Gnome, because this is a very powerful card, especially in the early game. Basically, what it does is it's 2 and 1, which is pretty average for, it only takes 1 mana to spawn, not very much at all. But when he dies, it deals 2 damage to the enemy hero. And this means that they get kind of scared of killing him, because it means they take damage when they kill him, which means, they have to be a little bit more cautious about their stuff, and it's great overall, because then he can keep attacking. It's pretty useful. And what I'm also going to do this turn is use the last 2 mana I have, because otherwise I'll go to waste, and I'll use my hero power again. Really put some pressure on the enemy hero. So, as soon as the enemy hero goes to 0, that is when the game is over, and, the number of minions... Okay, Pete's just going to do the same thing with that. And, basically... It's funny we have, kind of opposite thingamajigs. He can just, immediately heal any damage I do to him. But, yeah, so... Next, by the way, I could actually come... let's talk about the Death Rattle, because I just mentioned that. As soon as this thing dies... 2 damage is done to the enemy hero. So that's what Death Rattle is. That's one of the, kind of 5 major abilities that a thing can have. There is the Battle Cry, which is as soon as you put him in the field, that happens. There is Charge, which means as soon as you place him, you don't have to wait a turn to attack. You can charge straight away. And then you've also got Death Rattle. You've got Taunt, which is the one you saw earlier, where it stops you from attacking anything else on the board. And then you've also got Divine Shield, which means the first time you take damage, it doesn't actually take damage. So, for this turn, I think what I'm going to do is I could use... what I think I'll do is I'll deal 2 damage to the thing. It's kind of a waste because, it's only got 1 health, but it still means off the field, out of sight, out of mind. We'll charge straight into the face. Get 2 damage done there. We'll put out our Wolf Rider, and like I mentioned, he has charge on him, so that means that we can actually charge straight into the fight, which is, it's actually a really powerful ability, because it means you can immediately counter stuff, whereas everything else takes a turn to play, which means they can, before you can actually get something ready, they can attack it and kill it. So here I can just charge straight in, get an extra 3 damage, and on top of that, except, I can't do that on top of that, I miscount my mana, but yeah, that was my use of my 4 mana this turn. I spawned in the 1 spell card, which does 2 damage, and then the 3 charge, which does that. So yeah, spell cards are a variety of cards that you don't play them down like a minion. They do various effects. So this one, it's very useful if they have, a variety of minions, all with 3 or less health, because you can just instantly take out a lot of cards. And yeah, as you can see, their deck, they seem to be spending a lot of their mana just on healing themselves, which is, a good sign that we've gotten them down to that point. So, here you can see we've got 3 cards of Battle Cry, which is all the same thing, but they're all very different abilities. This is restoring health to me, this is gaining, +1/+1 for every other minion on the battlefield, and this is dealing 2 damage. So, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to get ready to draw in this card, because the more cards I have on the battlefield, the more useful this is. So, I'm going to, use this turn's opportunity to get this card down, because I can also deal 2 damage as soon as he spawns. It's kind of like charge, but in a different way. Direct onto him, take him out, and then I can charge straight into their face again. And as you can see, we're putting some serious damage down there. He's on 18, we're on 29, and we have 3 minions. So we are very clearly winning. So, yeah, basically that's Hearthstone in a nutshell. I think I've explained the very basics. Now you might be able to look. You see the mana goes up each turn. The number of cards I can play is going up, and, you know, the number of possibilities is going up with that, and that's kind of what's going on here. So this turn, what I'm going to do is, because I have 6, I can either play down my Reckless Rocketeer, who is 5/2 of charge, which is it's a pretty good card if they have a strong card I need to get rid of immediately. But I think instead of that, I'm going to play down this card, heal some health, and then also play down my Frostwolf. Is that Frostwolf Warlord? Yeah, because basically, because I have 4 of minions on the field, he's going to get 8 plus 8 health, 8 damage, which is a very, very strong card, and it should allow me to end the game a lot quicker than I otherwise would. And everything else, I could go attack him directly. What I'd prefer to do is, I think I'll just charge. I think I'll charge straight into his face, because no, actually, it makes sense for me to take these cards out, because I already got the buff for this guy just here. So, because this is a battle cry, even if these cards die, he still has that ability to be 8/8. So we're going to take this card out right here, which, by the way, has the enrage. It has the ability that whenever this minion takes damage, gain +3 attack. It's a very temperamental card, because to attack damage to 7 health isn't too useful by itself, but gaining +3 attack each time means that you can, it's a pretty powerful card in that regard, because if I attacked him with the 2, if you use weak cards on him, he'll get very strong very fast. Like, if you did 1 damage to him 5 times in a row, then he's going to have, something like 17 attack damage, and that's enough to take you out in just 2 hits. So you have to be careful of this card. You have to make sure you attack him in, like, big bursts, and you can kill him the same turn you attack him, because otherwise, you'd see now he's on 5/4, and if I didn't finish him this turn, he'd be on 8/1 or whatever, and that's a scary thought. So now I have 1 free minion. There's nothing left on the board. I'm going to use it to attack the face, and then we'll go back to the thing. So yeah, this is referred to as the face. These are usually your main health points. I like to see them like life points in Yu-Gi-Oh! They're pretty good in that regard, and yeah, that's kind of their purpose they're serving. So he's going to play down another taunt card. Again, the battle cry and the taunt there. You can see I have to attack that taunt card before I can do anything. And what we actually have here is we have a weapon. So a weapon is the final kind of part of Hearthstone. Of course, there's loads of other cards you need to explain. But this is the final part that can be confusing to look at. Basically, what this does is so what do we have on this? What we'll actually do is we'll be clever and we'll use we'll use first of all we'll use this because it does 3 damage to random enemy minions, which means we can just entirely take out his board right there. And then what we can also do is we can put on the Glaive Zuka. So this is a weapon. So a weapon is a card that when played, it's kind of like, it's neither a spell nor a minion, because basically when played, it attaches to your hero. So my hero has, as well as health, he has attack damage, which means that I can attack their enemy minions, but their enemy minions will do damage to me back, or I can attack his face directly. So if I attack his face directly, he can't hurt me back, even if he has a weapon. And that's basically the main kind of thing that can happen here. So yeah, this is the face pretty powerful. And the weapon has different stats to everything else because it has, the damage on the left and the number of uses on the right. So this has 2 damage and 2 uses. So, and also when it's used, it gives a minion +1 attack, which is pretty cool. And as you can see, it went to the guy who already had 8 and 8. Now he's on 9 and 8. So yeah, basically, now we can attack direct my face, as you can see, and that's a pretty cool way to get some extra damage in. And now I have 1 more use of this till it's dead. It's weapons come up, rarely in Hearthstone. They're a lot less used than other cards, but they are very useful in certain situations. Not too much in this one, but yeah. Now what we can do is, because his entire field is cleared, I can just go straight for the face, and it looks like next turn I'm going to win. Which means now that he has just 5 health left, even if he does spawn out cards this turn, as long as he doesn't pull out a taunt or something, what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to make sure that as fast as possible, I get the health down to 0. Because there's no point me taking out these minions. See, he's going to play down taunt. There's no point me taking out these minions if there's a way for me to win this turn. And as you can see, you might think, oh, I've got to take that out, which might take out my turn. But with some, reason, it doesn't even have to be that clever. But basically, I'll play down my own taunt, which keeps all my cards protected. Not that it really matters. I can take out his 1/4 there. It will cost me 2 of my minions, which usually this is not a worthwhile trade. But in this particular case, also the leper gnome finally died, it did 2 damage to him. In this case, it means that now there's no taunt left in the field, I have my 9-8 and I can go in for the kill. Now he is down to 0 health and I have officially won the game. So that's a very brief rundown. That was an AI, that wasn't an online game. Online games are of course a lot harder because you're playing against real people, but that's a basic explanation of everything. So, I think the basic recap, there's health, there's attack damage. When you attack someone else, you got to make sure you have more attack damage than they have health if you want to one-hit them. And there's a load of other different rules. That last rule was nonsense. But yeah, basically, you want to listen to all the things I just said rather than this last little summary at the end here. Hearthstone's a fun game. As I said, I think I'm going to do an arena run. This is where you kind of like gamble your stuff, and I also want to open some packs because, like with any other card game, you can buy packs or like in real life, and it's very very fun, very addicting. And if I do a YouTube video on it, it's like I can justify my addiction. So yeah, that was a game of Hearthstone. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, do all the things you usually do. Oh yeah, second channel. Don't care. See you later.